bitch, I am loud, live, and in motherfucking colors. Like, hell no. To the no, no, no. Yada, yada, yada. Like, hell no. To the no, no, no. What we gonna be talking about, girl? Like, hell no. To the no, no, no. I am a random motherfucker, okay? So,
parental discretion is advised.
What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your sister from another Mr. ThickChickVlogs, and yes, bitch. This is going to be kind of a quick video, but y'all know quick for me ain't really quick, you know what I'm saying? But I just y'all be wanting to see my face, so I just gotta come on here and give y'all a little bit of commentary on a couple of different subjects. It's not going to be a lot like it was in the last video, but a couple of different subjects, and I'm going to do a little snippet of a rundown of The Walking Dead and Empire, because y'all want me to do show reviews and things like that, but that's just not my stilo, and YouTube be tripping, girl. I'm talking about tripping when it comes to, you know, reviews and stuff, so I try to stray away from that little situational right there. But let's talk about The Walking Dead really quickly. Then we're gonna go on to Empire, girl. This is gonna be like a little, you know, a little synopsis. I'm not gonna give a whole entire rundown, but I'm gonna pretty much tell y'all. I'm gonna read a little bit of something that I found online, which is a perfect write-up of the first episode of The Walking Dead. And bitch, let me tell you, I gagged, okay? I absolutely gagged at the very first episode of The Walking Dead, but yes, I did. And I be getting pissed off because, I mean, I understand that they gotta leave us with cliffhangers. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand. I totally understand that they gotta leave us with cliffhangers. But bitch, I be so damn mad that we gotta wait another week for another episode. But anyway, on the very first episode of The Walking Dead, in case y'all can stick around to the end of the video if you don't watch Walking Dead. Quit bullshitting, okay? Quit bullshitting if you don't watch Walking Dead. If you don't, you need to get on the good foot and start checking out The Walking Dead. But if you guys noticed, when I first started, I was like, why is half of this in black and white, then the other half is in color? Then common sense told me, okay, the black and white. Did I just give y'all the finger? I did not mean to do that. But the black and white part was the, you know, they wanted to separate the timelines. The black and white was, you know, previously in the day, or, you know, the week before or day before or whatever. And the part that was in color was what was happening at that very, very moment. But if you guys have watched the first episode of The Walking Dead, if you haven't, you need to click out this video because there's going to be some spoilers in here, okay? A whole bunch of them. But you guys know that they're, you know, the group and everything, they're living in Alexandria. You know, a bunch of folks behind this wall. They're living in these big old fancy $1 million homes and stuff, just walking around lollygagging like ain't shit popping off, okay? Like the world ain't done ended outside, or like you ain't got zombie motherfuckers walking around eating folks' face off and shit. They just living in this little you know, neighborhood like ain't shit popping off. I mean, granted, they got a wall up, but they feel like they're gonna always be safe behind this motherfucking wall. But guess what, boo? Reality has sunk what I like to call the fuck in, okay? Cause shit is popping off. So they were all out, you know, doing whatever they were doing. I think they were I know exactly what it was. Rick and Morgan were out there, and they were, you know, burying the dude that Rick killed last season. Y'all remember him? The motherfucker who was beating on his wife? Yeah, they was out there burying his ass, and as they were out there, they noticed that Rick was like, hold on, Morgan. Because Morgan, let me tell y'all something about Morgan right quick. I used to like Morgan, but now he's starting to piss me off, okay? He is starting to piss me what I like to call the fuck off. And I'm going to tell y'all a little bit more about, you know, from the next episode 2. But let me keep going because y'all know I can go in a rabbit hole in a minute. Morgan got his old funk ass out there. He just starting to piss me off because he done got a little bit too fucking soft, okay? When he was with Rick, you know, he was cool, calm, and motherfucking collected. And he was one who was schooling Rick. You know what I'm saying? When Rick was a little bit confused. But now he the dumb motherfucker. So they out there burying this dude, and all of a sudden, you know, he's arguing with Rick. I forgot what the fuck they was arguing over. Something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want Rick to kill the guy. He feel like people don't need to be killed. He feel like we can, you know, just beat him up. He got his little motherfucking combat stick and shit that he beating folks up with, and he feel like you ain't got to kill nobody no more. The devil is a lie. Do you not understand? It is a zombie apocalypse, okay? It is a zombie apocalypse, Mr. Morgan, okay? He just starting to piss me off. But Rick is like, be quiet. And you hear like walkers, but at the same time, it's like it's not just one walker that you hear. It's like, damn, it's a whole gang of them motherfuckers sound like. So they're over by kind of like a cliff. So they walk over by the cliff, y'all, and like this little, it's like a just a sea of them motherfuckers. I'm talking about 2,000-3,000 of them motherfuckers. They just congregating to this like one little section. And the only way, because if you guys don't know, in Alexandria, they might see one or two little scraggly walkers here and there. And, you know, Rick and them were always wondering, like, dang, how in the hell were y'all able to stay safe for so long? It was because the walkers were congregating, because, you know, if they hear noise, that's where they congregate to. And they get down in this little hole situation and they can't get out. And it's blocked off by 18-wheelers, okay? But the 18-wheelers are like on a hill, and the hill is like falling apart and all this type of shit. So all of these thousands of walkers are in this like little, just like a little pond thing. Like, it's not a pond, but it's like just a dry ass hole, okay? And the only thing that's keeping them from getting out of this dry ass hole is some 18-wheelers, okay? Only thing that's keeping them from getting out of this little situation. But as Rick and Morgan are out there, they notice that the rocks are like falling. So at any moment, if them rocks fall and them 18-wheelers fall, all of those fucking walkers that are in this little section, they gonna go straight for Alexandria, which is where they're living, because that's where the road is gonna lead them straight to Alexandria. And that's exactly how these people were able to remain safe for so long. And my question is, who set up this whole little situation? I think the wolves probably set it up, but that's neither here nor there. So Rick goes back to camp, you know, back to Alexandria, and he lets them know, look, it's about 1 million of them motherfuckers down. Now we got to do something. We have to, or, you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these fucking trucks fall and they gonna head straight towards us. And these people so punked about it. A lot of them ain't even never shot a gun, nothing. This shit been going on for years. Carl and this little baby, the baby damn near year old, 2 years old, however the hell old the baby is. Shit been going on forever. And these motherfuckers just still around are just like lollygagging and shit, cooking goddamn chocolate chip cookies and shit like shit is gravy, okay? So Rick tells them, no, this is what we gotta do. We gotta, we're gonna go out there with some, the little flare things. We're gonna, you know, once the things fall or whatever, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna lead them down this long road, and then they're gonna go on about their business, okay? But we gotta build up a wall to prevent them from coming towards, you know, camp. We gotta build up the wall to where, you know, it guides them in the opposite direction. That way they keep on, you know, trucking to somebody else shit. You understand? But as they were doing, you know, out, you know, doing the dry run or whatever, and they put up the wall and all that shit, it was a dry run. They had already had the wall up, but they were going to do the dry run of exactly what they were going to do. Because, I mean, the folks in Alexandria, it was one dude who didn't want to do it because he's a little punk bitch. He was like, well, why should we trust you as to what's going to happen and all this? I mean, these people were seriously saying that they didn't want, well, I'm not going to say all of them. There was a couple of them that were saying that they did not want to do it because they were simply, I mean, basically they were afraid. And of course, the main one who was talking all this shit, the same one who tried to plot, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit more about that in a second, but the one who tried to plot to kill Rick, yeah, he is the one who is ceased and deceased around this motherfucker. Okay, yeah, his ass is dead. And let me tell y'all a little bit about that. This was in the, you know, the flashback. So, this dude, I forgot his fucking name, but he fucking dead. He's irrelevant at this point. But he had a little semi-meeting with people that were in the, you know, the other residents of Alexandria. And he was basically saying how he feels like Rick is trying to run everything. He gonna get them killed, yada, yada, yada. So we need to kill him before he, you know, takes over this place. And of course, our buddy, what the fuck is his name? Shit. Oh, damn. Old boy that needed protection to get to Washington because he claimed there was a fucking cure. What the fuck is his name? Damn, I cannot think of his name. But anyway, his little punk ass was up in there getting some oodles and noodles, and he overheard him. But as he overheard him, of course, he's a punk motherfucker. He dropped his oodles and noodles, and they came out there, and they was about to, the one dude who was plotting to do the shit, he was about to kill him. But as he was about to kill him, Rick, Morgan, and Daryl bust up in the house like, you know, all willy-nilly. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. And they see this motherfucker got the gun pointed on fuck boy down there, the one who needed the, you know, protection to get to Washington. They like, what's going on? Okay, what's going on? And old boy was like, it's me. It was me. You know, we taking this place back from you and all this type of stuff. So Rick, of course, is being calm, cool, and collected. He was like, oh, you know, that's all you had to say. You could at least got a lookout. And as he's easing towards the dude, he grabs his gun, points it at him, pulls the trigger like he wanted to blow his fucking head off. But of course, Morgan's in there looking at him all cockeyed and shit. You know, Morgan don't want nobody to be killed no more, which the motherfucker needed to die. Okay, he needed to die, and he died anyway. But he needed to have a bullet in his head at that particular point in time. But of course, you know, Rick let him live. Okay, he let him live, and they went ahead and built the wall and all that good stuff, and they set out to do what they needed to do. But as they were building the wall and all that good shit, after they got it up, and they were doing the dry run, shit popped off. The rocks and shit broke. The goddamn trucks fell, and the walkers started. I mean, this was a dry run. They weren't supposed to be doing it until the next day. But they said, no, we got to do this shit now because they are headed for us. So they had to get on the good foot. You got Sasha and Abraham, they're in a car, and you got Daryl on his bike. They're guiding these walkers down this road, and they're driving down the road because they need the walkers to follow them so that they don't venture off and head towards Alexandria. They need them to go in the opposite direction. So like I said, you got Sasha and Abraham driving a car, and you got Daryl there, you know, in case shit gets crazy and then he needs to, you know, get them back on track or whatever. You got Rick and the gang there behind the wall shooting flares in the direction that they need the walkers to go in. So as they're doing that, stuff is going perfect. And then you got Glenn. I can't think of the black dude with that fucked up ass lace front they got. I can't think of his name, but they got Glenn, him, and the one that tried to kill Glenn. His motherfucking ass gonna die pretty soon too. They're also in a separate little location killing walkers, you know, to keep them from making too much noise and shit, so they ain't venturing some of the walkers off the road. So they're doing all that. Shit is going gravy. I'm talking about all gravy, big baby. And of course, you know, shit progresses, and then all of a sudden we hear a loud ass horn. Okay, now mind you, anytime they hear noise, they go in the direction of the noise, which is the reason why they were shooting the flares, you know, towards, you know, the opposite direction of Alexandria. But all of a sudden we hear a loud ass fucking horn, and well, no, bitch, let me go back, bitch. Why the fuck am I the fast forwarding, bitch? That ain't what we hear first and foremost. Well, then again, guess the fuck it is. That is what we hear first. Is that what we heard first and foremost? Yes, we heard the horn first, bitch. I should have wrote down me some notes, but y'all know I am a impromptu motherfucker. But we heard the horn, and all of a sudden, old boy, the one who built the wall and all that stuff, the one who was plotting to kill Rick, you know, they're doing their little thug thizzle, and all of a sudden, this motherfucker, you know, get part of his face ate off and shit. That was before the horn, though. ThickChickVlogs, bitch, that was before the horn. Alright, this is the most ghetto ass motherfucking review I ever seen in my damn life. But that was before the horn. Old boy, because one of the walkers was stuck in the tree, and old boy ended up getting his face, part of his face bit off and shit. And he was making all this noise and shit. And some of the walkers were coming off of the road. And then they had to, you know, shoot flares or whatever. Rick had to go ahead and stab his motherfucking ass in the back of the neck, because he had that motherfucker. He was dead already anyway. So Rick had to go ahead and take him on out the game. Even though, you know, Morgan then wanted to kill him. But motherfucker, when you get bit, you have no choice but to go ahead and off the motherfucker. So of course Rick had to stab me in the back of the head, because he was telling him, you gotta be quiet. But shit, motherfucker, I gotta have my damn face ate off. You expect me to be quiet around this place? But yeah, Rick went ahead and killed his ass, and Morgan, of course, come out looking all cockeyed and shit, like he got some shit that he wants to say, like he got something on his motherfucking mind. What the fuck you expect me to do? This motherfucker sitting here hollering and shit. He already bit, he dead already. So I needed to go ahead and off his ass, you know, to keep him from making all that damn noise, because it was bringing some of the walkers off the road. But after Rick killed him, they started shooting the flares, and they got back on track. Things was going good, okay? things was going all gravy, big baby. Then all of a sudden, that's when we hear the horn. And we don't know where the fuck this horn is coming from, but we hear the horn, and all of a sudden, all those thousands of walkers that were walking on the road that Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl were guiding down this road, all of the walkers were then heading straight toward, I mean, they were coming all in the woods and shit, because that's what Rick and them were, you know, keeping, you know, safe at in the woods. And, you know, they was on the walkers was on the road following Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl and the thing on down the road, you know what I'm saying, away from Alexandria. But as the horn was going off and it was coming from camp, they were like, where's that coming from? And you hear Michonne saying that's coming from camp. So of course we're thinking to ourselves, who the fuck is doing that? A lot of people were saying it was the wolves. A lot of people were saying that it was old boy, which was the guy that Rick killed last season. They were saying it was his son that was trying to sabotage them. So that's how it went off. When the horn was going off and all of the walkers were coming off the road. I'm talking about thousands of fucking walkers coming off of the road, heading straight towards Alexandria and run, you know, Rick and them in the woods and shit too. Now they finna had to run from walkers, so we don't even know what the fuck finna pop off. So like I said, the horn was going off, guiding all of the walkers off the road, and I mean, ain't nothing you can do, because you don't know, you can't get to the fucking horn to cut it off to get them back on track, so you pretty much fucked at this point. And that's how episode 1 went off, okay? Then we get to episode 2, and I'm kind of pissed off low-key, but you know, they had to give, you know, had to show how or where the horn was coming from. So back at Alexandria, shit is going, you know, all gravy, and we noticed that the wolves come, and they literally, I mean, just started fucking wrecking shop. So Carol is, you know, looking out the window because she's cooking some chicken, whatever the fuck she cooking, girl, I don't know, some cooking some shit she got in the oven, but she's cooking, and all of a sudden she look out of the window, you know, just smiling, and she noticed a dude standing out there. She noticed a motherfucker come up with a goddamn machete and just chopping his ass up. Ching, 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 ching. So of course she knows Carol is a bad motherfucker. She kind of like that goddamn Lucius. Carol is a bad motherfucker, and Rick would be a goddamn fool to kick her out of. You know how he kicked out back then, but of course she's part of the family now. But he was a dumbass motherfucker for kicking out back then, because Carol is a bad motherfucker. She used to be a punk bitch, because if y'all don't remember, her husband used to whoop her ass and shit. But now Carol don't take shit from nobody, and she can't stand a punk motherfucker. She can't stand all that soppy ass crying. She'll tell you in a minute, all that crying and shit, all that emotional shit gonna get you killed. Okay, it's gonna get you killed. So you need to man the fuck up and stop all that goddamn soppy ass crying. She'll tell you in a minute. But like I said, she noticed that somebody was stabbing the fuck out of one of the people who lived there. So of course she goes into defense mode. The goddamn wolves then got to camp, got to Alexandria, and they are literally just tearing. I'm talking about, they are trying to find every single person that, you know, is not a part of them, and they are just chopping their ass to smithereens. I'm talking about just killing them. So you got folks hiding and shit, because like I said, these people do not know how to defend themselves. They don't, half of them ain't never shot no gun before, half of them ain't never stabbed nobody before. So they are literally just defenseless at this point, and they basically looking for you know, Carol and the rest of the gang to basically protect them. But like Rick said, we can't protect, we gonna get ourselves killed trying to protect these motherfuckers. I mean, period, point blank, exclamation point. So Carol is, like I said, she, you know, going out there and she doing her thug thizzle. She trying to, you know, kill as many of them as possible. But like I said, it's so many of them motherfuckers, and they are literally slicing and dicing everybody who ain't got one of them little W's on their fucking forehead. So let me tell you something that we end up finding out. Did anybody else notice that what the fuck happened when they saw Morgan? Because I could have swore that dude said, it's you, somebody. Morgan apparently was with this group. He used to be with this group apparently at one particular point in time. Did anybody else catch that, or am I overthinking shit? But it appears to me that Morgan was a part of that whole little group situation right there. I can be wrong, maybe not. Okay, so that is what's going on with that whole little situation. The wolves are there slicing and dicing motherfuckers, and they done killed quite a few people. But Okay, now we're going to go to the meaning of the JSS, because of course it was JSS, and if y'all don't know, you don't remember from the beginning, because I mean, I didn't talk about that shit because it was pointless. You saw the little girl, she was in, the car, and her parents were outside of the car, and they were trying to jumpstart the car and shit, and all of a sudden the girl saw walkers coming. She was like, Daddy, it's a walker coming, and the motherfucker, the walker just ate the fuck out of her mom and dad, so she was in the goddamn car, basically just hiding from the fucking walkers, and her mom and dad was out there dead as a fucking doornail, okay? Dead as a doornail. And she was writing JSS all over everything and blood and all this shit. So she ends up getting out of the car, and of course she is lollygagging, walking, la. Then of course she see a fucking turtle. She get the goddamn turtle. She's goddamn I'm talking about, bitch, she got that motherfucking turtle. Blood just every goddamn way, just some disgusting that shit. But bitch, if you hungry, you gonna eat whatever the fuck you can eat, okay? You gonna eat whatever the fuck it is. You're fine, okay? You'll gnaw off your goddamn your own fucking hand if you had the the mind frame if you was hungry, okay? But and then she getting the bones of the damn tortoise and writing JSS in the with the bones on the ground and shit. And everybody trying to think, what the fuck does this JSS mean? So that's how I think they ended up finding the little girl, and that's how she ended up getting to Alexandria, and that's why she lives in Alexandria, because her mom and daddy ended up getting killed and all that type of stuff. So that's where the JSS come from. And I'm going to explain to y'all what it means, because a lot of people still don't know what JSS stands for. So back at camp, like I said, the wolves are there, and they just killing the fuck out of every single person. And y'all remember the old girl that husband was abusing her, whatever, the one that Rick Kill's wife. Her and her little boy are in the house, because she's trying to go out and get her son. The son that followed Rick and Morgan to see where his daddy was buried. He was out and about in the in a little community or whatever. She was going to go out and get him, but as she was going out to get him, some of the wolves were coming in her house, and her son had to hide in the closet, and my thing is this: when they was hiding in the closet, you can clearly hear people still walking around in there, but I guess she thought they had left. So that's when she decides to come out, and she told her little boy to lock the door back behind herself. And as she's walking out, one of the a woman wolf, whatever the fuck she is, that bitch was still in there. So she had to get a knife. I mean, when I tell you, when Rick find out, if that motherfucker live to the next episode, when Rick find out that she did what the fuck she did, he's gonna be extra, extra proud, because that bitch had that goddamn knife and she was tearing her motherfucking ass on. I'm none motherfucking stop. And that's when her son came in and saw her stabbing the fuck out of this, one of the wolves or whatever. I mean, because he looking like he's shocked in a motherfucker, because they never defended themselves. So they kind of when they see somebody stabbing somebody or shooting somebody, they feel like, oh my god, you just murdered this person, motherfucker. We F these goddamn folks, mother. It's a dog eat dog world now, boo. It's a dog eat fucking dog world. So back at you got Carl. Carol told Carl he had to stay in the house because he had to keep the baby. He had to keep her safe. He had to keep Judith safe. So he's at the house with the door locked with his gun and shit. He said he gonna protect his house no matter what. Cause y'all know Carl don't play either. He learned very well from his father. So he ends up telling the girl to come in, because he sees her on camp or whatever. He tells her, come in and I'm gonna protect you. So she comes in and she ready to leave. She don't want to stay there. She wants to go back and do her thing. You feel me? Because of course she was surviving on her own before she came there anyway. Because remember, her mom and her dad got killed when they were outside of the car trying to jump the car off. So she had been surviving by herself. Probably ain't no telling how long she was surviving by herself. So she wanted to go back, and she said, ain't no way in the hell you can survive in this place. She said, well, you can't protect this place, which you can't. It's too big. It's too many blind spots, okay? You gotta live in a space. I'm not saying you gotta live in a cardboard box, but you gotta live in a space that's a little bit more confined, because when you living in a space that's so big, it's hard for you to see around all these fucking corners and shit, which is one of the main reasons it's not one of the main reasons how the wolves got in. It's a way that wolves got in, but that's one of the ways that the wolves got in. So she's, she tells him just survive somehow. Okay, and did the bitch leave? I don't even fucking remember. Did she leave? I think she did leave, bitch. Did she fucking leave? I don't fucking remember this. Like I told you, it's a ghetto ass review. But anyway, she says just survive somehow. So that's where the JSS situation comes from. But like I said, they killing the wolves and all this shit. And Morgan is in one of the houses or whatever, and he's having to fight off one of the wolves. And the man's like, I think he called Morgan name. That's why I think that, you know, Morgan was a part of this whole little clique situation. So, Morgan's fighting this dude off. He ends up having to kill him with his stick or whatever. And of course, Morgan's sitting there looking all, like I said, cockeyed and shit, because he feel like you shouldn't kill nobody no more. I don't know where this fucking mind frame that came from with Morgan, but he feels like you just shouldn't kill anybody anymore. So, of course, my girl Carol, she's out there. She got her fucking mask thing on with a little hoodie, and she got some blood and put a W on her forehead, and the people don't know that it's her. They're thinking she's somebody else, okay? She done took one of their little hoodies and shit and wrote a goddamn bloody W on her forehead, so they thinking she one of the wolves, and she out there with a gun killing they motherfucking ass left and right. They, you know, running around different parts of the, you know, the community, and they don't know who she is, and she just offering them one by one. And all of a sudden, as they're doing all of this, one of the folks come up with, I don't know, was that a fucking walker or was that a person in that 18-wheeler? Did they put a walker in there to run it into the building, or was that a person who got shot or some shit and ran into the building? That's how they hit the horn, and, you know, the horn was, that's how the horn started blowing. I don't know if that was a walker or if that was one of the wolves that were in there to try to knock down the thing. Y'all let me know who the fuck that was in the thing, you know, the 18-wheeler, where the horn hit, their head hit the horn and the horn started going off. So that's where the horn came from, okay? So they needed to show that little part of the whole little situation. So shit is going down in Alexandria right now. And Rick and the gang, they out in the woods. They don't know what the fuck going on back at, you know, Alexandria. All they know is they running from thousands and thousands of walkers because this fucking horn is going off, and they don't know where the fuck it's coming from. And they trying to, you know, basically survive because they got thousands of fucking walkers that are literally right on their fucking, the heel of their fucking shoes. And that's what episode 2 came in at. So they didn't show Rick and the gang in episode 2. It was basically just showing what the fuck, where the fuck the horn sound came from. And that is what's popping off back at Alexandria. So that's episode 1 and 2. Bitch, that was the most ghetto-ass ass motherfucking review, and I'm pretty sure I done left out a whole gang of shit. Whatever I left out, leave that shit down in the comment section below. But we finna talk about Empire real quick, but y'all know how the shit go. I'm at 30 minutes already, and bitch, I said it was gonna be a short video. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. Ain't no such thing as short videos when it comes to ThickChickVlogs. But let me go ahead and purge this shit, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about Empire very, very briefly, okay? Very, very briefly. See you in a second. Go get you some snacks and shit, girl. Alright, y'all, so we are back. Now we are on Empire Season 2. Y'all already know I talked about, Season 2, Episode 2. Y'all already know I talked about Episode 1 already. But Cookie, Hakeem, I do have notes here because I don't want to really be all over the place on this one. So Cookie, Hakeem, and Andre are back at Empire, and they're clearing out this shit because y'all remember from Episode 1, Cookie had the little situation with Jamal where, you know, they were backstabbing Lucius and all this good old shit. So, of course, you know, Jamal basically told him to get the fuck on out of there and all this type of shit right there. So they back at Empire clearing out their shit. So Cookie decides that she wants to start her own label with Hakeem and Andre, and they're going to call it The Dynasty, okay? So Hakeem wants to start up a, you know, all-girl group with 3 girls, and you kind of like Destiny Child or whatever. And, you know, Cookie's on board with that. She thinks it'll be a great idea. So Jamal has an interview with these folks called Spilling the Tea, and Cookie walks in and interrupts and all this stuff, and she wants Jamal to release, you know, Hakeem's album or whatever for, you know, so they can, you know, do whatever they will with it, with the new little situation that they got going on. And of course she's trying to manipulate the fuck out of him, saying that, you know, Hakeem just trying to do his own little thug thizzle and all this stuff. She's trying to just do what she does best, which is manipulate him when, you know, to get what the fuck she wants. I love me the fuck out some Cookie, okay? I love the fuck out me some Cookie. Okay, so Lucius is, you know, now we go to the prison system where, you know, our boy Lucius is, and he's in there having a whole gang of problems, okay? Because the prosecutor is deciding that she wants to withhold his medications, okay? Unless he decides that he wants to confess or give up some information or something, she is withholding his medication. Because apparently, you know, in prison they really don't give a fuck about you anyway, okay? So she is withholding his medication. And apparently, you know, no one cares. And of course, we see that fine ass motherfucking Ludacris. He is this badass goddamn prison guard who basically got a chip on his shoulder. And he really don't care too much about our brother, Mr. Lucius Lyons. So Ludacris is a straight up asshole. Okay, I mean a straight up asshole in this whole little situation. I mean, he just giving way too much fucking people. I mean, he over there fucking with them folks, stepping all on their shit, telling them this is my y'all. I mean, just being a total asshole. But we already know when it comes to the prison system, the guards don't run that prison, boo. The prisoners run it, because you gonna respect them goddamn folks, and you gonna get some whole lot of shit and blood and all that shit thrown in your goddamn face. So you best to be on your P's and Q's and respect they gangster, okay? Because before your motherfucking ass be walking around here full of hepatitis and all kind of other diseases, okay? So Jamal comes to the prison. He's visiting Lucius or whatever, letting him know everything that's going on. And while he's in there, this, like my auntie Lady Nika called him, a pimp named Slickback overhears their conversation and all this stuff, because Lucius starts to cough and Jamal's asking him if he's okay. And he was basically saying, he really ain't getting his medication and all this type of shit. And old boy, he's trying kind of talking to him and shit in the prison guard. Tell him, look, man, you can't be talking over the fucking tables and shit. And Lucius tells Jamal that he want to, see if he can get him a computer and all this type. Lucius is trying to set up a fucking studio in the prison system, okay? So he's telling him get him a computer and all this stuff. And he want to record this little single from prison, Snitch Bitch, okay? Oh boy, like I said, pimp named Slickback tells him, look, man, I can get your medicine and I can get you some goddamn equipment and shit, okay? I can get you all that and stuff, okay? So, all of a sudden, I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about that in a second, girl. But, Hakeem decides that he wants to release his fucking album, all that type of shit, girl, because, just fucking stupid, okay? I guess he really didn't give a fuck, because he already feels some type of way about his goddamn daddy, and Jamal wouldn't release it to him, so he said, you know what, fuck it, I'll leak the shit, and ain't none of us gonna make no goddamn money off it, okay? So, old boy, a pimp named Slickback, next thing we know, we see goddamn Lucius Lyons, they leading his ass into a utility closet. I'm thinking he finna go in there and get his ass tore out the motherfucking frame, and of course he got his medication. A pimp named Slickback ended up getting some of his medications, girl. And they walk him into this utility closet. I'm thinking he's finna go in there and get his ass whooped. Bitch, it's a studio set up in the goddamn utility closet. That motherfucking Lucius Lion, baby. Let me tell you, I need me a Lucius Lion in my motherfucking life. I don't know about you, but I need me a Lucius Lion in my motherfucking life, girl. Okay, so yeah, Lucius got him a studio, and he got his medications and shit. A pimp named Slickback came through on that whole little situation right there. I already told y'all how Hakeem decided that he wanted to leak his motherfucking album like a goddamn fool. Lucius had some flashbacks and shit, where Kelly Rowland is his mom, and she's singing him a lullaby and all this type of stuff, and apparently she has some type of mental disorder. I don't really know what's going on with that situation. I guess we'll see later on in the season or whatever, but she's his mother and he's having flashbacks and things like that. Then all of a sudden we see Lucius, he's back in court with his new defense attorney, and it looks like this motherfucker has stood him up, because they're like, the prosecutor's like, we can't be wasting time like this. His goddamn attorney ain't here. We need to go ahead and ship his ass back to the prison system, okay, until we get some resolution up in this piece. But of course, pimp named Slickback comes busting up in the courthouse and shit, saying he got some new evidence, okay? He walks up to the judge or whatever to present this new evidence, and the new evidence apparently is some blackmail. And the judge says, okay, brother Lucius, you are free to go. Case dismissed. Or, he's out on $1 million bond at this particular point in time. The case wasn't dismissed at that particular point. He was out on bond. He has some new evidence and shit. He was out. Okay, it is what it is. They can't find burning and shit. So pretty much new evidence is blackmail. So Lucius is a free man now. Now we go to episode 3. I'm not gonna really give too much of a rundown like I just did on that one. All I'm gonna say is Andre wanted back into Empire, and Lucius didn't want him back into Empire and shit. Okay, Lucius ain't want Andre back into Empire, but Andre said, if I can make all of this shit right here go away, because the feds is raiding his ass now. They done goddamn got Cookie ass locked up and shit, trying to get her to snitch on him, all types of shit like that. So they do, all of this shit done popped off, okay? All of this shit done popped off. Oh, and bitch, how the fuck did I forget the best part? How did I forget the best part of episode 2 when they put the motherfucking body of old boy. And how the fuck did I see that? That's why I tell y'all, these some ghetto ass fucking episode 2. They put old boy body in her car because Andre told Lucius, if I can make all of this go away, when the feds was raiding and all, if I can make all this shit go away, can I come back up? And he said, if you make all this shit go away, you can have whatever you want. So of course, Andre decided he gonna go dig up burning body and shit. And Lucius and them ended up coming out. Lucius and a pimp named Slickback ended up coming out there and seeing him digging him up, and they helped his ass and all that shit, and they ended up putting the goddamn body in the prosecutor car and shit. And then the next episode and shit, Andre decided that he wants to, he's getting baptized and all this stuff, and he's confessing all his sins to his family members and all this stuff. I'm thinking Andre motherfucking ass gonna end up trying to, you know, he gonna end up telling some shit that he ain't got no business telling. And he wanted his whole family to come to the church while he was getting baptized, and they all came. Lucius showed up at the last minute, and of course he's having another flashback where he sees his mother, as Andre is getting baptized, he sees his mother dunking him, and you know, in the flashback, dunking him into the thing like she was trying to drown him or some shit. Like I said, I think she had some type of mental issues or something like that. But how the fuck did episode 3 go off, bitch? How the fuck did episode 3? Oh, bitch, they done kidnapped Hakeem. Yeah, they kidnapped the fuck out of his ass. Plus, some folks trying to extort Cookie and her gang because they figure she got money and all that type of stuff. And of course, we already know that Lucius has signed old girl, the thug motherfucker, and Andre is the one who's over this little record label right there, girl. Like I told you, there's some ghetto ass shit when it comes to these interviews right here. But that's why I can't do interviews, because I be all over the motherfucking place, okay, girl? But that's what the fuck is going on with that whole little situation right there. It went off. Episode 3 went off with Andre Hakeem being kidnapped, okay? And so we gotta see in the next episode what the fuck's gonna pop off with that little situation, and Andre getting baptized and all that. And I believe the motherfucker gonna end up snitching, and I don't know what the fuck gonna pop out with Hakeem. Hopefully he ain't dead, okay? Hopefully Hakeem ain't dead, because that'll really be some fucked up ass shit. I would hope that, you know, that didn't happen in this episode right here, but you never know what the fuck gonna pop out with this Empire shit, because it is off what I like to call the motherfucking chain. But that is the end of this motherfucking review, girl. Ghetto fucking reviews, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.